Are you ready? Are you ready, Jasper? Huh? Are you going for a walk? Do you want to go for a walk? Huh? Do you want to go for a walk? Should we go? Alright, let's get this on. Okay. Should we go outside? So out walking the dog, thought I'd share maybe a little bit of the thoughts I had this morning. I don't know how daylight saving time hit all of you, but for me, it's kind of funny to just see how my body stays on the same schedule no matter how the time changes. It takes a little bit for me to make that adjustment. But this morning, you know, one of my ongoing challenges is always sleep. It's always just trying to find enough sleep in the night and to not wake up and not be able to fall back asleep. So it's something I work on constantly. But today, you know, just same kind of deal. I wake up because of discomfort and sometimes some pain, and I have to try to get myself back to sleep, let my mind stay calmed down. But today just wasn't having it. So I've been up since 3 this morning, but got up, went to spin class like normal, because for me, I know a lot of people will say, hey, you got to be willing to take a day off or take a break when you need it. And I recognize that and I appreciate that, and I do. But also days like this, I'm reminded that, you know, I just can't let excuses take over either. So I have to find that balance. So today was one of those where I got up and went to spin class, and it was tough. It was tough. It was another one of those where it was easy to find the excuse. I was starting to get gassed out about halfway through. So I have to be willing to, you know, say just getting there was the win for the day, and be able to accept, you know, the value in going, let my performance drop a little bit perhaps, and say that's okay. But, you know, as I was there, it just, all those different thoughts, some of them I've written about in the past, about, you know, active recovery and being willing to realize that you can't have a personal record every day. You can't PR every day. Every day is not going to be always better than the last. Sometimes you have some real gains, and that's exciting, but some days just showing up, that's the win. That's the advantage. So as I came home today, and I felt like I still did great, still feel like I did well. I recognize that, you know, being up early and still, you know, making that effort and that exercise, I have to make other concessions. So I plan a nap later today. Hopefully that'll happen. We'll see. But that's where I find my balance. So I don't know, the take-home lessons today for me, from my thoughts during the exercise and afterwards, was first, don't let excuses win. You know, evaluate and decide what's an excuse and what's, you know, a valid reason to make some adjustments, and how big of adjustment do you need to make? Do you need to take a whole day off, or do you just need to be able to maybe accept a little bit less on your performance? Whatever it is for you, that's okay. You know, that's what it is for me. After the news of getting into the trial makes this week a particularly busy one. You know, I still have projects and things that I'm trying to get done, but also that, you know, I've got that travel in the middle of the week that's really important. I need to be prepared mentally and physically for what's happening. You know, I'm going to travel out. I have to do more tests. I get this new drug. You know, once I start taking that drug, who knows how quickly side effects are going to kick in. So like I said, I need to prepare myself mentally and physically for this, and head into it not with kind of the natural trepidation and anxiety that, you know, is understandable, but that's what I try to control. That's what I try to remain positive about, and find a way to, you know, accept what's going to come, but also accept that I'll do everything that I can to make it as good as possible. So I'm headed into it excited, but also, you know, with some trepidation, I guess, as to hoping it'll work for me, because I need it to work. I need it to stop this cancer. But also, you know, just continuing to try and rely and foster an element of hope, a hope that this could really be something good for me. So this week's going to be, you know, an important one, but also, you know, a busy one that I still have plenty to do. So I ask myself, you know, how much do you guys really want to hear about, you know, what's going on? How frequently these updates are if they're interesting or if they're not, when there's not necessarily a whole lot of new information. Sometimes I'm just kind of sharing what's going through my head and what I'm thinking about, and hopefully that's interesting. For me, it's a lot about sharing it so that I actually work through it in my own mind. If I think about how I'm going to tell it, whether I'm writing or whether I'm talking, that's what I find, I guess, beneficial. I told a little bit of this, I guess, what was on my mind while I was walking, and I realized out in the cold, I was sniffling a lot, and I was doing that in my last video as well. It's cold. In Utah, it's still cold. But this week's an interesting one. Getting the news late Friday, and then making these quick plans to head out and start the clinical trial. It's exciting. It's a relief. It's something that we were definitely working towards and hoping for. But now that I've hit that step, mentally I have to make that shift. And while the relief kicked in, it doesn't mean that all the anxiety and the trepidation goes away either. Heading into this trial, there's no guarantees that this trial drug is going to be what's going to really help me. I mean, the opportunity for what it provides could be, maybe it doesn't help at all, maybe it helps a lot, or maybe it only helps for a while. We know it's not a curative drug, but we hope that it provides some good quality and time of life, because it does some good, working back against this cancer. So that's our hope. That's what we're working on and hope. And I'm trying to keep my mind focused on that possibility and that potential. And so, that's what I try to rely on, rather than the anxieties and the worries about, not only continuing to remain qualified and whether this is going to work or not, but just having that hope and belief that it can work. And so this week's a busy one. Still have life to live, still have things to do, work to do, family events, things that we're trying to squeeze in as much as we can. But, with this coming, it makes the week a little bit busier, and we shift gears and obviously give a priority where it matters.